Young Brexiteer Tom Harwood revealed the forgotten benefits of Brexit and insisted that people of the UK would become far richer and more free on day one of leaving the EU. Brexiteer and political commentator Tom Harwood explained that he was excited to receive the promised benefits of Brexit. During an interview with Express.co UK, he insisted that to some degree they had been forgotten in the last 3 years and explained that people across the country would benefit once the UK left the EU. He argued that Brexit would greatly benefit the poor as vital goods could decline in price. He also noted that he believes the majority of Brexiteers would like a Brexit deal but argued that the UK would still find ways to benefit from a no-deal Brexit. Mr. Harwood began, "That is not to say that no deal cannot see the UK thrive and prosper. On day one of leaving the European Union with no deal, we gain control over a whole raft of policy that we simply didn't have before. We would have control over our terms of trade with the rest of the world. We could move to something called unilateral free trade, slashing tariffs on imports from other countries. That will make vital goods in this country cheaper for consumers up and down the country, particularly the poorest people in the country." Mr. Harwood went on to emphasize the benefits of a no-deal Brexit that he expects the average person to enjoy on November 1st. He added, "If we leave with no deal, on the first day that we leave the European Union, the government has assumed complete control over all of these policy areas. It doesn't need reciprocation from the EU to have domestic reform. What I am most excited about leaving the European Union is the domestic policies we will be able to implement that will, almost immediately, make the lives of people in this country far better off, richer and freer." Jean-Claude Juncker revealed that the EU may be willing to remove the backstop in order to prevent a no-deal Brexit and offer Mr. Johnson an altered withdrawal agreement. Despite the hurdles Prime Minister Boris Johnson has had to face delivering Brexit, Mr. Harwood remains confident that he will ensure the UK leave the EU on time. Earlier in the interview, he said, "What we have seen over the last few weeks is that Number 10 is willing to be a lot more proactive in its attempts to try and get this referendum result respected. It is willing to do the same sort of trickery that we have seen Remainers engaging in for the last few months really. We have seen them ride absolute roughshod over our constitution in terms of overturning the order paper and having coups against the executive. Now we are seeing the executive kicking back, and I think a lot of Brexiteers up and down this country feel like they have got someone now in that building behind me on their side, which is quite nice."